to Kim Jong-un. Professor Robert Kelly of the Department of Political Science at Pusan National University joins us live now. Professor, just explain the significance of this and how important it is in the improvement and the warming of relations between the US and North Korea.
Yeah, I think it's of middling significance at best. It's not a strategic concession on the issues that we really care about: nuclear weapons, missiles, the deployment of the North Korean military near Seoul along the DMZ. It's not a major political concession. It isn't sort of, closing a gulag or improving human rights or something like that. I mean, this is something that's important for the families, obviously, and it's good symbolism, but I don't actually think it ultimately moves the ball very far. I think the president put this into the Singapore summit declaration in part because he knew the other things the North Koreans would drag their feet on, and this was a deliverable. So it's good, just in the same way that the Olympics were good, but it's still dancing around the primary issues.
Do you think this strengthens, though, North Korea's negotiating position when it comes to other matters? Because they can point to this and say, look, we took this step which was so important to families who've been waiting for this in the US for so long.
Right, exactly. And the North Koreans love this kind of stuff, right? Because it changes the subject from the much more important strategic issues. The North Koreans like to do this with family reunions with people in the South as well. People are divided from relatives in the North. The North Koreans use that to create sort of the image or the sort of facade that they're humanitarian and they're concerned about, people's families. Obviously, they're not, right? They're using it really as a chip in order to extract concessions and to really change the subject. The last thing they really want to do is get into sustained, long-term, complicated discussions about their nuclear program, right? They'd rather muddy the waters with these kinds of humanitarian things first. And so it's good, and I certainly think we should negotiate for it, absolutely. I mean, it is important for the families on all sides, but ultimately it's still changing the subject.
And I suppose the other unknown, the other question mark is how many of these missing soldiers' remains are being repatriated. And the fact that North Korea has not given a number, or no number's been made public, means there may well be some relatives who do not have the closure that others are getting.
Yeah, that's right. And there's a whole forensic issue, too, right? When the North Koreans have returned remains before to the United States and to Japan, there have been all kinds of issues about whether or not the remains were what they said they were. They mixed in with other people, unidentified people, North Koreans who have died. Animal bones were found in the mix in the Japanese case. I mean, it's really sort of hard to know, right? I mean, first of all, these people, of course, have been dead for 65 years. Often they were put into mass graves, and so there's sort of a mix of things in there. Also, the North Koreans don't have particularly good forensic technology. North Korea is quite backward. Other than the nuclear program, which of course captures all of our attention, North Korea is actually quite backward technologically, right? So this is all going to have to wait until the remains go to Hawaii, where the Defense Department has an identification agency for MIA returns, and then we'll have a better sense, I imagine, in a few weeks. I just don't know the forensic process that well.
Okay, Professor Robert Kelly, good to get your thoughts.